talk to, the key things that I wanted to do is make sure I talked to both Mr. Davis and Mayor Bob to make sure that there was no reason that it wasn't done previously. And I got the go-ahead from them, I had gotten the go-ahead from you all. And so I have put that on the agenda for the next administrative policy committee. The only issue they have now is when we do namings, we don't have a process. So, that has passed the snuff of whether or not it will be done, and we're now at how do we get it done. And just FYI, we're gonna be doing Earlwood too. There was a request to name that park after Virginia Bedford because she was very much involved with that. I heard some things about parks, so I just wanna, and I'm trying not to be responsive. I'm trying to give the report I came to get, because there's a lot of things, so, but I did want to, I asked for an update on everything that's going on with the park from Todd today. Baseball field and new fencing project has been completed. I actually saw them cutting the grass. Was that Saturday? Saturday. It was over the weekend. Yeah,
Saturday.
the grass was like.
Have an event.
It was whatever day Jamie sent me out, I think. Yeah, okay. Includes irrigation, sodded field, dugouts, warming track, scoreboard, fencing, new grading, and some other things. Currently exploring swing area to be ordered this fiscal year. So they had the quote out. And I will tell y'all, it does take time. Like we don't do anything fast, and I have never promised that the city was going through, because we just don't. But the quote is out for the swings. They received historic sign from Fossil and working with park staff on install date. I don't know what that is.
That's the kiosk.
Oh, kiosk, okay. Received mural signs and working with park staff to install date in the next 2 weeks. Structure behind home plate will be removed as funding becomes available. So I need to see what that cost is gonna be. Boulder concerns were addressed this spring, and additional railing was added at steep slope from walking path to stream. And I think that was a total of like $343,000. In saying that, I do have to apologize to y'all because Mayor Rickerman, I'm gonna try not to be all over the place. Mayor Rickerman did the state of the city differently this year, and he wanted to go into the districts. And so the first district was District 1, and it was last Tuesday. It is not Mayor Rickerman's fault, and I can't say that 100%, that the word did not go out earlier, okay? So we had a very small showing, probably 25 people or so, but the design I thought was pretty cool. He talked about big city, full city stuff, and then went into what's specifically happening in District 1. So what I'm gonna do is send y'all those bullet points. Is that okay, since y'all missed it? But it's also on videotape too. Tonight they're doing District 2 and they're gonna be doing it different ways, but I did wanna note that because a lot of folks were like, well, what happened in District 1? We had it, it was not promoted properly. Food policy, we finally got the, y'all know I told y'all I was working on the Food Policy Council and what we're gonna do about food scarcity. And we looked at a mobile market, and this is another project that took way too long because the idea first hit when I was still at the city, and I left the city in 2017. But with the COVID dollars, we were actually able to put some money aside. We went through a formal RFP process. That's what we have to do with taxpayer dollars. And so the mobile market was awarded to Tom Creek Farms. And I don't know if any of y'all know them, but they actually have a grocery store downtown, a brand new one, 912 Lady Street, where they have invested about $2 million of their own money. The good thing about that is they already have the place to get the food from at the right margins to make sure that this is sustainable. And that was a big thing because we can't have stores coming in and leaving because it impacts the spirit of the neighborhood. When we have a store that's there, Save a Lot, some of the ones that we kind of think we're gonna get used to and they leave. But we finally got that done. Y'all, I do believe you're gonna love the concept. The buses, like a regular school-size bus, but it looks like a grocery store on the inside. It'll be upfitted, finished in December. If y'all wanna hear like the real presentation, that was the bigger point. It's gonna be on the city council agenda tomorrow. And the staff will give like the big blown presentation, but I'm super excited because it's took 6 years. And they will be on the streets in January. And hopefully, I think that we have a vendor who can expand it if the market works. Did you have any other specific questions about it? Okay. Repeat concerns, Ms. Jamie, this is what I'm gonna do, so the list that you sent, I have it with me, and I went through those with David, and I think that there is something lost in communication. So I'm gonna add you to my meeting. I meet with David once a month, sometimes every other month, and everything that comes in, he puts on this little list, because I'll tell you the truth, I can't keep up. But so everything that I have, I send it directly to him. He puts it on this chart. And if y'all can kind of see, the green stuff is the stuff that has been taken care of one way or the other. Yellow stuff, the yellow addresses, so every address that you have is on here. And so I want to make sure that there's nothing lost in translation, because when we went through them, several of them were being dealt with. I do agree with the repeat offender, and that's what we have to find a way of escalating penalties. Right now, we just don't have we don't escalate the penalties. You pay your $25 fine and come back. That is what we're going to work on this coming year, is trying to find, we have to learn how to, not learn how to, but we need to deter people a lot more. Because a lot of people don't mind paying the checks. All right, last thing, because, has it been 5 minutes yet? No? Well, no, the stuff that I originally came to talk about, I want to give y'all some updates. We talked about, at least things that I've been working on. Office of Violence Prevention has finally been stood up, and we have a director. We're really excited about him because he has a background working at DJJ and working with kids who tend to be involved in a lot of our violent crimes and issues. And he's coming up with a strategic plan. I always tell people we are not the experts, so we need to stop trying to be the experts. Get some people in who can really do that, and we were able to fund that. We got the mobile market. October 25th, I'm excited. We're going to be meeting with nonprofits and the faith community. What I have seen since I've been in office is every week or every month, a church comes to me, and it's really a lot of times churches. One church, I have 37 acres for the city to build on. The city is not that kind of developer where we're going to build on your 37 lots. We have churches that have single-family homes here or there, or they have lots of empty lots. So we're going to do an information session where we, number one, bless you, show them how they can develop those lots, where the funding is, what it looks like. Here's some developers. Here's the nonprofit way. Here's the market rate way. And then what the city can actually do. Because what I realized is everyone just thought that the city could really do everyone's project, and we don't have that capacity. So I'm hoping out of that, people may want to sell their lots, because if they've been holding on for them for 10 or 15 years, that's a problem. Well, not a problem, but I would really love for them to release those so that we can add them to the current market. November 30th, we're going to be meeting with, Brian has helped me arrange all of the owners of vacant buildings on North Main Street. We're calling a meeting because we went through the list, and 90% of them are local, which is pretty, and by local I mean at least in South Carolina. I saw one of the ladies, I've known her 40 years, I'm sure she's in her 90s. I think we do have some people who own the property who just don't have a clue what to do or how to do with it, and it's just kind of sitting there. And fortunately for them, they can afford to pay the taxes, so no one's taking it. We're going to have a session with them of, here are the different things that we have. You have the Bailey bill if you want to, for credits. We have the commercial revolving loan fund that we have for small minority women-owned businesses. You may just want to sell, and that is a practical part of this discussion. Do you want to sell? If you all came to the development meeting we had, we found out that most of them didn't even have their sales on a national website. They just had like in front of the door, for sale by owner, which meant if you are like some of these other businesses that are coming from other states and they wouldn't know. You only know if you go down North Main Street and see the sign that says for sale by owner. So, I am excited about that because I think that we can get some traction with that, or at least tell people we need y'all to just start thinking about what you're gonna do with your property. And maybe, I think a lot of them is a capacity issue. Now, some of them are just waiting because they know that the longer they wait, or at least they anticipate it's gonna be worth more. But we're hoping that we can kind of get them to do something with the property as opposed to waiting, for an extended period of time. And I think has it been 5 minutes? I'm sure it has been. I think those are the key things. I had a whole, okay, one last thing, the dumping, illegal dumping. I did do a request that if you have areas that are repeatedly having the dumping, to go ahead and, let us know so we can put the signs up. But we have a great solution, and I think we have to do a better job of letting y'all know everything that we're working on. But the stuff that we work's gonna take so long that people get excited way too early. We're getting, cameras put on the trucks, on the trash trucks, garbage trucks. Those trucks can then take real-time data, because they have to go to every single street of where the dumping is or where those locations are. One of the issues that we also had was that I got tons of calls that the garbage truck would ride right by a big hill of trash. And their position was that they needed to wait for David to come, and David to do the ticket and document it, which means you ride by it and it takes another week, potentially for them to do it, and then another staff get it done. With this new camera system, we'll be able to immediately document the location, have the pictures of whatever they need, and just send it to the department so they can do the paperwork later and go ahead and pick up the stuff, because that was a bigger problem too. Just once you know it's there, you call it and it's sitting there. So the cameras, those cameras will help with that, and we did put more money in the budget for cameras, for the putting about it, no dumping signs. That was just approved in the recent budget. So I just wanted to make sure I addressed those without getting too far, off of the main things that I thought you all, at least that we had discussed before. Yes, sir.
One question. If I remember correctly, when Mayor Rickman was here, he had talked specifically about using cameras, not necessarily for that, but to also do an inventory of where there were water breaks along the streets within the city itself. Is that still gonna be done?
That's done on the trucks, because those trucks are going up and down every street.
So it's gonna be multi-purposing with
Yeah.
the cameras?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's still.
And who said that?
I thought it was Mayor Rickman when he was
No,
talking.
no, I'm just making a point.
Yeah.
Just making a point. Yeah, so hopefully it should be able to do all of that. Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir. Can't hear you.
Goatscaping issue is, I'm sorry, the goatscaping issue, are you familiar with it?
I am, that's very
Where is
interesting.
it, do you have any idea? I know you got.
I think we went in, Jesus Christ, that was just the last meeting,
Yes,
wasn't it?
there was supposed to be a vote on it, I believe.
So you would ask me about something I did 2 weeks ago. Did we defer it? I'm gonna tell you the truth, I really don't recall. I would have to look at our minutes. But if y'all are not familiar with it, it's a company that has been operating here, obviously. They mostly do commercial land and commercial projects, but they use goats to eat down grass. And we had several communities that came. As a matter of fact, we did defer it. We deferred it because we told them we're deferring it, but they still wanted to be heard. It works pretty good in commercial areas. What I try to tell some folks is that you won't have to worry about it, at least from my understanding. They only come to your neighborhood if someone in your neighborhood says, please bring the goats to come help me with my grass. And so if that is one aspect of it. I think people were worried that goats were gonna start being everywhere. No, they weren't. No. People were really worried about this, but it is a private company that you hire to come clean out property, clean out and they eat it all up, and it's not supposed to be. It's more earth friendly and so forth, but we deferred it because we needed more information. Yes, sir.
So the question I have is, does that mean that we can own a goat in the city?
Yes, you can own a goat.
No.
Do we have to rent one, or could we just own one?
No, I think you
Would there be a
can.
license fee?
Well, no, so we have a big goat issue. We don't do goats in the city.
So we have chickens.
You got chickens?
No, I'm trying to tell you,
We
Todd.
have pigs. We already know that.
I'll just never forget, Todd put goats on a drawing for one of our parks, and the whole, I had to double check, I just know everyone went crazy. No, seriously, they went
We
completely
want to
crazy.
go to eat the bamboo down in the park.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like those big, it's
Very
really,
big.
really good for those big projects like that. And I think he says that they can, and I can't get these numbers right, but maybe they can do an acre in I don't know, cause he brings like maybe 8 or 10 of them, and they just slowly eat through it. But you know, you don't have to.
They're not slow.
No, they're not.
Oh, the way he was explaining it to me, maybe that's my simpleness, but the way he was explaining it to me, it took a minute, but they're really used more so in commercial, really big, land opportunities, and we have not made a decision, that's the answer on that, Lina. We need some more information. They did bring me some goats, so
If somebody owned a goat, would they be able to keep it?
I have to double check. My impression was no, so I need to double check, but that's really just based on the outcry that we got.
You've got enough property, you can keep it.
Councilwoman,
Yes,
have you, when this initiative rolled out,
which one?
the one with the cameras on the dump truck,
Okay.
They're not on the track.
I know, on the trash truck, my office received about 162 concerns. And I didn't have the opportunity to really, because, I'm in unincorporated Richland County, but we also are in the donut holes.
Right.
We have 4 different donut holes across, most of, actually, unincorporated Richland County. But there were a significant degree of privacy concerns. Were any of those concerns addressed in the last memorandum about this particular initiative before you guys have started, I guess, contracting? Are you ready to release this?
I don't know if it was mentioned in any of our writings. What I do know is we had to make some practical decisions because we got those same positions with our blue lights that we have throughout the city. We got, and it's all the same privacy concerns. I used to be a public defender, so I understand the nature of how they can be used. But when we are still dealing like every other industry, like the schools. When we are not fully staffed and we still have difficult times getting fully staffed and constituents have concerns, we have to make a decision.
But, okay, and that's fine and dandy,
Yeah.
but realistically, do you have a concern about any privacy issues? And how do you all determine who is going to be managing and manipulating the data of what is taken from the community at that volume?
That would be our staff who's in that department. I honestly, and I don't know if y'all know, but I used to just do criminal, so I love criminal law, I love trying criminal cases. I like winning, and I was not a prosecutor, I was a defense attorney. That's the love of my life. And I watch all the shows, okay? No, seriously, to this day. I say all of that to say I'm very intrigued by how either side can use that data to either help or hinder. So, it helps, that tracking data can help see that a person wasn't involved just as much as it can show whether or not they were involved. And so, of course, it's me watching how it works on Chicago PD, one of my favorite shows. No, I'm very serious though. But I have seen the usefulness of it, and just as it may identify a person who was in the wrong place, it will also show that's not the person we thought. And so I don't have any real concerns about the negative consequences that we know can be out there. I think we probably have, I try and tell people we know where everybody is anyway. But yeah, so no, I personally don't have, I'm not on the position of the privacy concerns. No, we don't release it to anyone. And it's only shared with the staff, people who need it, and maybe our police department, because they have a big, whatever that thing because to me, it's just about accuracy.
We got
What
one more
did they have?
question over here, and then we can adjourn so y'all can
Yeah, I'm
talk
sorry,
individually.
the timer was supposed to stop too, like, stop at 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Yes, sir.
Right there on Duke Avenue,
Mhm.
the city fixed, a broken water line. When you come down Duke,
Okay.
you start down the steep hill.
Mhm.
I don't call the address, but when you come down, you cannot miss it, cause it's almost like a pothole.
What am I looking for? They have fixed it or they have not fixed it?
No, they fixed it, but I'm saying that
It's got a
it's such,
dip.
it's such a big dip. It's almost like you're gonna be in a pothole.
Like when you come around the
Oh,
whole,
to
the
my,
clinic.
No,
the
when you coming
cement
down
has
Duke.
sunken
When you
in.
coming down.
No, the
Duke.
asphalt.
Yeah, but
They
it's
had a-
sunken in.
What they did, they packed it too low.
Okay, it's sunken in and
Right,
it's like, after
right,
they fixed it, okay.
right.
Has anyone already called it in?
I don't know. Okay, then my other question is,
Well, hold on, let's stay right there, cause see,
Okay.
I got I got ADHD, and
if you come down Duke, you can't miss it. As soon as you pass running,
well,
you'll
it's a
see,
lot, I'm
it's,
gonna tell you that, it's a lot easier if you just send me the address, but I'll check.
okay, I can do that.
Yeah, if you send me the address, but I'm gonna make a note that, and how long ago was that it was fixed?
Probably about a month, if it's been that long.
Is it closer to the hall? Yeah, when, before, it's past the jail.
But it's not leak, it's not, please tell
When
me it's
you-
not
okay.
leaking.
I know what
It
you're
don't look
talking
like
about.
it's leaking,
You know when that, you
but,
go to that next
but it's a,
church
it,
down,
it's a
before you
saint,
go across the-
you almost had to stop to go past it.
Okay.
It take up the whole lane.
Okay.
Okay, then my other question to you is, I'm kinda confused. In other words, if a citizen has trash in front of their house and there's too much trash, they have to call a supervisor to be able to pick it up?
No, if it's dumping, so it's one thing to have
Okay.
like your trash rolled out and we know it's yours.
Okay,
It's something totally different in a vacant lot to have mattresses and tires
Okay.
and stuff like that. And David's department is code enforcement, and they wanna be able to cite that address if there's an owner there to make sure, they're aware.
okay,
So it's
okay.
really, the delay was due to we found a reason to create a delay so that paperwork could be done.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just misunderstood what you were saying.
And my thing is, I want everybody charged, like I want folks to pay penalties, because that's the only way we're gonna deter them, and so the penalties need to be a lot
Well,
more.
I have to say, I complained about some dumping on our street,
Mhm.
and a guy from the city came out, I don't know what his name was, dressed in, dress clothes,
That's probably,
went through the garbage bag and got mail out. So we could address the dump. I was very surprised.
and I'm glad, 'cause, I mean, seriously, I think because we have low staff, we're just like picking up stuff and we're not charging people, and it's.
It's been a while.
Okay. Yeah, but no, they are trying and they're doing better. But it's just like individuals, sometimes you get great folks and sometimes you don't. So that's really all I can say about that. Anything else? I really did not intend to take more than 10 minutes. But y'all know how to reach me if you need me. I just noticed again. Y'all know how to reach me if you need me. Thank you, Mimi, and I'm sorry I took up so much time.
No, people are excited. So motion to adjourn? Time, Matt, Jamaica double time. Okay, thank y'all so much for your time tonight. Our candidates are still in the house, you know, want to talk to them.